사제전을 제일 좋아하는 사람아. 뭐 생각 다 쉬어. 대라되는 나오는 사람은 전쟁상 송기죠. 법을 대부분 대제자가 나는 사제전. 최근에 사제전보다 양소련을 가고 그런 게 양상.
Now, first of all, to be able, receptive for the teaching of Mahamudra, we have to have proper attitude. The correct frame of mind is recommended as the noble attitude of a Bodhisattva, called awakened heart or Bodhicitta. And this is to think, my main goal will be to establish all sentient beings in the state of full enlightenment. To do so, I will request the teaching of Mahamudra and follow the path accordingly. With this attitude in mind, I will request that we may begin.
이게 자만하라 아무 생각 짜들 아주 생각 야삭 삐져오고 야삭 땡 나티니는 가서 공부 성신다.
Now, the instruction of Mahamudra that we are talking about here comes from this text called the Four Statements about Mahamudra. The first statement is to find out everything about what mind is. This being clarified, the next step is to let mind abide within itself. And we have seen this was recommended to do by means of 6 examples, and the explanation of that was completed yesterday.
내가 숨바 생각 고사해봐. 고사잖아. 노송을 해봐. 야를 송지라 레나 고리 롱사 롱게 리파네 되나. 자자고 송지게 봐봐. 아, 내가 시제 상나 송지제 공부 보도데 나도 송지 이잖아. 더블라이. 네 연바지 때리빠나 다 연된 동대반장 매 연바 흥덕도 대반장 대리제 대리 송지제 공공선 다른 송지 닌달에 닌다 마이마 네 인도 로네 송지제 공공선 차자 연바제는 로완다고 지금 상나 대대에서 놀로
So, we come to the third statement about Mahamudra, and this is to clear away the options to miss the path, to wander astray. And there are 5 of those possible sidetracks that we could be trapped into. One of such trap would be to believe that I could achieve a state of Buddhahood which is elaborated somewhere high up, by meaning that right here and now, in all my stupidity and ignorance, I have no connection to Buddhahood. And to achieve Buddhahood, somebody has to come who has a lot of strength and intelligence, is very gifted, and this person could then reach that state of Buddhahood which is somewhere in the distance, a far away state, and go there and reach that state. So Buddhahood is totally different from what my state of mind is here and now. That would be one of the traps that we could fall into and miss the way.
송지가 레나 고르다 송지게 단 사자 예는 로한다고데 땅한테 고송아 노송아 된다와 말에 나로 종게 생겨 렉반데니 라마게 상하 여기 까마감송게 제페게 명리 다 된다와 랑게 된다와라 되네 나랑 사자 전부 가나 그 사자 전부 나도 저는 나로 좀 생기니 그 양다고 또 다들 양다고 또나 상지기.
In what sense the idea and hope to achieve a state of elaborate Buddhahood, somewhere uplifted state, somewhere else, is a trap or a sidetrack? Because we entertain the belief that Buddhahood was something totally different from our present state of mind. But in fact, this very present state of mind here, now, our own awareness is what can be, by the blessing of the lineage of the Karmakaji, for example, and our own practice and diligence, can be discovered in its basic nature. And this basic nature of it, our own awareness, is exactly Buddhahood. Buddhahood is nowhere else than the basic nature of our own mind. Now, how can we say that the basic state of our mind, when recognized, is Buddha? In what sense does the term apply? The meaning here is when we have recognized our own mind for what it is, all errors, all illusion, all ignorance is totally gone. And so then one will not be motivated and driven anymore to interact with the seeming world in a way that causes harm and entangles oneself in the results of one's own action. So not doing anything bad as a new imprint in one's mind, one will not have the experience of suffering as a result anymore. Therefore, one reaches a state beyond suffering, free of confusion. And this exactly is the state of the Buddha. Now, Milarepa has pointed out here in the one saying, looking at my body, which is like a skeleton, even my worst enemy will burst out in tears. Looking at my mind, which is the Buddha itself, all the masters, the former masters of the lineage, will be greatly delighted. So when realizing that one's own mind is Buddha itself, this is to the true pleasure of all those who are part of the lineage of transmission. Then the next thing that we could go astray here, it's another trap, is the idea of fear. Fear of the realm of suffering, the cycle of suffering, Samsara. Why it is a trap? It's a trap in that sense that we have to misbelieve here that apart from our own ignorance about our own mind, there is something like a realm of suffering and misery out there where I could fall into. And it is a misunderstanding in the sense that we entertain the idea that this realm of suffering is somewhere else and is not caused by my own mind, but in fact it is just my own ignorance about the very basic state of my mind that makes it possible that such a suffering and delusion can appear. So all the hell realms and misery is nowhere else to be found than within the ignorance of myself about the nature of my mind. You might wonder at this point why is ignorance, unawareness, the root cause for the appearance of this cycle of suffering. And that's in fact because our own mind, in its basic nature, is clarity and emptiness, inseparable, in union. And if we are unaware of this basic nature, it means we have a misconception. We have an error or deception in relation to this basic nature. Misunderstanding the basic nature, which is clarity and emptiness in union, happens the following way. The clear, precise aspect of mind is misunderstood to be other and things, separated from myself, outer world, other beings, and so on. The empty aspect of mind is misunderstood to be a personal I. So, under the sway of this misperception of I, myself, and others existing, I will be entangled in all sorts of actions, interactions with the appearances that later on ripen to results that make this whole world of suffering and problems appear. So they are the basic cause for wandering around in the realm of suffering. Look in more detail here, the misconception of understanding the anti-aspect as the presence of the personal I leads to all the mental affliction like pride and desire and so on, which are bound to the idea of myself being something special and something worthy of qualities. And in that sense, I have this desire is also related to the idea of I, because first of all, I believe I'm here and I need something and I have to be beautified and so on. And in that way, I develop desire for all outer objects that can serve this purpose. Hence, my own present state. In relation to the misconception of misunderstanding the clarity of mind to be other, the emotions of jealousy and aversion, hatred, and so on arise. Now we come to the third The third option, to go astray after we have dealt with the hope for above, reaching a state of Buddha different from me, and below, a fearing of the state of suffering that is different from our own mind. Now, what in between? In between, it's the trap is to believe into the true existence of the appearance of this world and this life. And why is that a trap? Because under the assumption that there are really things out there behind the mere impression of it, I developed great desire for some sorts of objects by believing that they are really there and I can get them. There's something to obtain in this world behind the impression or the mere appearance of it. So I'm stuck in this type of expectation and desire. And on the other hand, there will be also the idea that there are some objects that I really don't like. Just merely looking at them makes me feel awful and full of anger and hatred. So this is all based on the wrong assumption that behind the mere appearance there really is something there. So what is the remedy? Not be trapped, not go astray, is to take all the mere appearance of this world and this life as for what it is. It's just a mere appearance. It is not different from a magical show or the dream illusion and so on. So to see it as a magical show, this is the remedy for not falling astray in this way.
Tilopa-quotation,
Yeah, so what's further to be said here? We have a famous statement from the great Mahamudra Tilopa instructing his main disciple Naropa. And Tilopa says to Naropa that, well, son, look, it's not the appearance of this world that really binds and ties you down here. It's alone you believe, you take them for true. So, drop this belief, take this world for true, Naropa. That indicates the appearance as such never poses any problem. It's alone ourselves taking those appearances for true. If we were to believe that behind the appearances there are really objects, certainly there will be some objects that look so nice that we are stuck in the desire to obtain them. And if we believe those appearances are true, then there will be some others that we find horribly and awful that we really try to avoid them. We're full of anger towards them. So that's what happens. And right in this way, we are trapped in attraction and avoiding. And those two mental movements are what makes the cycle of suffering and deception go round and round. That's samsara. Okay, what to do? It's not to take for true these appearances. That's the advice of Naropa, Tilopa to Naropa. What does it practically mean for us? He says, so we could use it as a reminder in our everyday life. Once in a while it happens that we encounter certain appearances that we really like and are very enjoyable. We just remind ourselves that, well, okay, there was something that we said, it's all this is just an illusion. Look, it's just like a magical show. Very nice to look at, but it's just like a magical show. It's like a nice, wonderful dream illusion. And looking at the appearances of our life in that way, then those appearances will not be a problem.
Nông cái nhóm nông là hiện là của cái họ chỉ chứ lấy là sao nhà họ họ chỉ nông cái nhóm nông xong cái là nó không sang cái gì luôn thế nên là họ không là họ gom những chút thì gom được tốt là thì cái sao cái nhóm cái lưu động sang cái đề cái nhóm cái xây dựng hoàn toàn tung bỏ cái nhóm đó thế là nhóm lên nó cái giả bộ đấy là nhóm này sẽ phải to thế là nhóm ra là đem vào hiện là ta cái nhóm cái giả bộ nó tiền đó sao có vừa rồi xong thì thế là hiện vào trong nó cái nhóm thì cái là bổ sung vào nhóm rồi.
Now the fourth way to go astray is directed inwardly. We're dealing with something above, below, middle, now it's inward, towards our own experience in the exercise of Dharma. When we are training ourselves in the process of familiarization of Dharma or Mahamudra, here in a more particular sense, it may happen that we have experiences. And those experiences can be very overwhelming, and they're basically of three kinds. One is to be overwhelmed by the impression of clarity, vivid clarity in all senses. Then the second is to be filled with joy and bliss in body and mind. And the other one, the third one, is that we have the experience of everything being totally empty. All those experiences are overwhelmingly nice. However, they're just side effects of our training. So in that sense, they're good because they show that we're actually doing something. But if we believe that those are true and we really want to reproduce them, we mistake them for the ultimate goal, we mistake the side effect of the training for the aim and goal, then we're stuck. Then it's going astray, we're trapped here. So the proper way to train oneself is to let go, to not take those experiences for true, and not be attached. The fifth way of going astray is to cast away all cause and result relation between one's own action. Don't totally ignore that. And this is a trap that occurs when we understand that mind in itself is empty, because it is not identified, it has no identifiable nature, and we conclude wrongly that there is no result of my action as a negative result. I can do what I want and nothing will happen. And there is also no use in doing good, because anyway, mind is empty, so what will happen as a positive result? This is the mistake and a trap, since as long as we are still dealing with this seeming world of delusion, we are not totally free from the delusion, but then we have to closely observe better what are the laws of interrelation in this seeming world. And in this seeming world, the validity of seeming world is that the cause and result relation is unfailable. Good action brings good result, bad action gives bad result. So I better observe this law of cause and result as long as I'm not free from this impression of the seeming world. So to do so also automatically avoids to be stuck in this trap by ignoring the law of karma.
你把这手上的还是帮着。
What's the main consequence out of this teaching about the fifth trap? It is that even the slightest virtuous opportunity is worth that I engage in. That even the slightest harmful deed is worth to be abandoned.